A critical summit takes place in Alaska today. Fewer Americans are hitting the bottle. And human hair may hold the secret to better toothpaste. That's some of what we'll get to on the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Friday, August 15th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. Number 1. President Donald Trump has a high-stakes meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Today in Anchorage, the two presidents will speak one-on-one with only their interpreters present. That conversation will be followed by a wider meeting between their countries' delegations. The summit is designed as a step toward ending Russia's war against Ukraine. But Ukraine and Russia remain far apart on what they would accept as a peace deal. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has not been invited to the summit. Trump gave a preview of the talks at the White House yesterday.
I think it's going to be very interesting. We're going to find out where everybody stands, and I'll know within the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, or 5 minutes, like we tend to find out whether or not we're going to have a good meeting or a bad meeting. And if it's a bad meeting, it'll end very quickly. And if it's a good meeting, we're going to end up getting peace in the pretty near future, okay? How about one?
Zelensky has ruled out surrendering land to Russia, and he has called his exclusion from today's meeting a victory for Putin. Number 2 is a Post exclusive. ICE documents revealed plans to double immigrant detention space this year. When President Trump returned to office in January, the U.S. already had the largest immigrant detention system in the world. It had capacity for about 50,000 migrants. But right away, Trump's administration set a goal of doubling it. An internal planning roadmap obtained by the Post shows for the first time exactly how immigration authorities plan to reach that goal. Under the plans, 125 facilities would be opened or expanded this year. And by January, ICE would be able to hold more than 107,000 people. ICE's breakneck expansion has been a chaotic effort that has already triggered lawsuits and accusations of cruelty. Number 3. D.C. officials issued their first major pushback against a federal takeover of the city's police. Yesterday, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi ordered the D.C. government to recognize a new emergency police commissioner. Bondi wants to install Terry Cole, the head of the DEA. Bondi also ordered the immediate suspension of D.C. police policies which limit cooperation with federal immigration authorities. Speaking to Fox News' Sean Hannity, Bondi addressed D.C. officials who want to keep the district a sanctuary city for undocumented immigrants.
You must comply. You must give the information to our ICE, to our Homeland Security officers. If they have information of an illegal alien living in D.C., they must give us that information. And we are going to stop crime, Sean, in D.C., and we're going to clean it up in this country. And President Trump is committed to that.
But Bondi's directive drew pushback from the D.C. mayor and attorney general. They called the order unlawful and suggested they will not comply. That sets up a major power clash as the district clings to its limited autonomy. This week's federal takeover of D.C. police and the deployment of the National Guard to the city has kept our newsroom busy. And next week promises to be just as eventful. That makes this a perfect time to try our 1-week pass. 7 days of our journalism for just $7. Get your 1-week pass at washingtonpost.com/weekpass. The Department of Health and Human Services is reviving a long-defunct childhood vaccine safety panel. That's number 4. In May, a lawsuit funded by anti-vaccine activists aimed to reconvene the Task Force on Safer Childhood Vaccines, which was disbanded in 1998. HHS said yesterday that it would revive it. The resurrection of the panel appears to be the first concrete step to achieve a longtime goal of Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That is to upend the current childhood immunization schedule, which recommends which shots children receive and when. Studies have found it to be safe. Public health experts are concerned about the panel's resurrection. They worry that the task force will overemphasize very small risks and undermine trust in vaccines. Number 5. Tropical storm Erin is now predicted to become a Category 4 hurricane. Erin is on the verge of becoming the Atlantic season's first hurricane. As of early this morning, the storm had winds of 70 miles per hour. That's according to the National Hurricane Center. Category 1 hurricane wind speeds start at 74 miles per hour. The Hurricane Center also increased predictions of Erin's intensity. It could become a Category 4 storm on Sunday. The storm is expected to track north of the Caribbean islands into early next week. It will be close enough to land to cause heavy rain and localized flooding, strong winds, and dangerous sea conditions. The east coast of the U.S. could feel some effects next week. Americans are drinking less booze. That's number 6. A new Gallup poll found that 54% of American adults say they consume alcohol. That's the lowest percentage in at least 86 years. And 53% of Americans say that drinking in moderation, defined as 1 or 2 drinks a day, is bad for health. It's the first time Gallup has found a majority who feel that way. And they're not wrong to think it. Public health experts and officials have mounted a campaign in recent years on the idea that no amount of alcohol is safe. The decline follows a big spike in drinking during the worst of the coronavirus pandemic. Groups showing pronounced declines over the past 2 years include young people, women, and Republicans. And at number 7, sheep's wool and human hair could be the secret to better toothpaste. To reassure you right off the bat, this is not a gross story like yesterday's tentacled rabbits. That's because this story is not about literally putting hair and wool into your toothpaste. Rather, those are both sources for an ingredient that could revolutionize dental care. That ingredient is the fibrous protein keratin. A new study says that keratin can repair damaged tooth enamel. Because unlike with fingernails, skin, bones, and other bits of the body, once enamel is lost, it can't regenerate on its own. That's why dentists are always so anxious about acidic foods. The study found that keratin can stop the early stages of tooth decay, which affects about 90% of Americans aged 20 to 64. Plus, keratin is a cheap, safe, and abundant material. It still needs more research, but if you start seeing hairy toothpaste on sale in the coming years, don't get the ick. That's the show for this week. I don't want to jinx it, but I think we may have figured out the problem that was causing our podcast to skip around, especially on Spotify. Thanks to everyone who offered your clues in this quest. And if you do hear skips today, please let me know. the7pod@washpost.com. Your next mission is to leave us a lovely rating or review wherever you're listening. The associate producer of The 7 is Taylor White. Special help this week from Rennie Svirnovsky. The staff writers are Jamie Ross and me. John Taylor is our editor. Additional editing by Christina Quinn. Copy editing is by Melissa No and Thomas Haliba. Mixing and sound design is by Jim Briggs and Justin Garish. Our theme music is by Edith Mudge. Renita Jablonski is our director of audio. I'm Hannah Jewell. Thanks for listening and have a great weekend. I'll meet you back here on Monday.